Vijay ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Shall we start, ma'am?
Yes, sir, of course.
Okay. Good evening, all. This is Dr. S. Shekhar. Sorry, please. Kurul, you can start recording.
So, shall I start, sir?
Wait, madam, wait, madam. So, good evening, all. This is Dr. S. Shekhar, founder and managing trustee of Star International Foundation for Research and Education, Tamil Nadu. I welcome you all for the 7 days online workshop on research methodology and publication ethics. Now, I would like to introduce few words about day one resource person, Dr. P. Vijaya ma'am. Is an accomplished academician and researcher, currently serving as an assistant professor in Department of Commerce. She hold a PhD in Commerce from Wales Institute of Science, Technology and Advanced Studies. With extensive experience in guiding research scholars, she has published numerous articles in Scopus and UGC Care journals. She has also contributed to book chapter, edited books, and hold multiple utility patent in AI and business management. Recognized for her excellence in research and teaching, she had received several awards and actively participates in faculty development program, conference, and workshops. I welcome you, ma'am, once again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your brief introduction about me, sir. Thank you so much. And it's my great pleasure to be here and as a part of research methodology workshop. So, shall we go through the meeting? So, once I've started this screen share, all of you please mute your audio. And after the end of the session, you can ask the questions in the chat box. So, shall we start?
Yes, madam.
So, we start the topic, the research methodology, introduction to research methodology.
Ma'am, can you share the screen, madam?
Sir?
Screen is not visible.
Can all be able to see the screen?
No, madam.
I've started screen sharing, sir.
Okay.
You can see, sir?
No, madam.
Just a minute. Now you can see, sir?
Yes, madam.
Yes. So, starting with the topic research methodology, it is the backbone of the academic and professional advancement, providing a systematic way to explore, analyze, and contribute to knowledge across various disciplines. So, in today's rapidly evolving academic landscape, research methodology serves as a guiding framework, ensuring the investigations which we are preparing are structured, rigorous, and impactful. So, whether it is in management, commerce, sciences, or social sciences, an effective research methodology enhances the credibility, reliability, and validity of findings. So, this research methodology helps in structuring the research questions and objectives, and it also ensures accuracy and reliability in data collection and analysis, and it provides scientific rigor to findings, and it bridges the gap between the theory and the practical application, which enhances the quality of publication and scholarly contribution. So in this session, we will cover the understanding of the basic research concepts. And this session aims to equip the students and the faculty members with essential research skills, enabling them to contribute effectively to their academic knowledge in professional fields. So I encourage everyone to actively participate and ask questions and engage in discussions to make out of this session. So a basic introduction, the research methodology is nothing but the process of identifying, gathering, and analyzing information about a topic. It includes specific techniques, procedures to use the step-by-step of the research process. So research methodology provides a framework and a guidelines for researchers to clearly define research questions. So it helps the researchers to identify the most appropriate research design, sampling technique, and data collection and analysis methods. So good research methodology helps researchers in planning their research effectively by ensuring optimum usage of their time and resources. It's just an overview of research methodology. So it provides a very high quality research and publications. The well structured research methodology provides a high quality research and publications. It increases academic and professional credibility and better funding and collaboration opportunities, which was given by the institutions or some other projects examples. So significant contributions to policies, industries, and societal development. So by strengthening research methodology skills, one can enhance their own career, but also contribute meaningful to the global knowledge ecosystem. So I'm not taking much more time of explaining this research methodology. It's nothing but the process. The research methodology comprises of systematic analysis, research design, and the data collection, analysis strategies, and ultimately giving a reliable results. So before framing this, so what are the basic goal of a good research? So the objectives are elaborated or classified into 5: descriptive, exploratory, relevant, time-bound, and prioritized. So I'll be explaining each with the example. So this descriptive objective, it means it focuses on describing the characteristics of a subject or a feature or a function of a subject or a phenomenon or population. For example, a study on consumer behavior may have a descriptive object to analyze the demographics and preference of online shoppers. So why it so matters, this descriptive objectives, is nothing but it provides a clear picture of the subject and helping the researchers to understand the consumer behavior trends or the patterns which exist in the market and able to formulate their future production process. So next is the exploratory objective. They are designed to explore a new area of knowledge or examine the potential relationship between the variables. For an example, excuse me, research which investigating the impact of AI on education may explore how this AI-based tools will enhance the learning experience both for the teachers and the students. So it helps in identifying the gaps, formulating the hypothesis, and setting the foundation for the future research. So next we move on to the relevant objectives. It should be aligned with the relevant objectives. It should be aligned with a particular border, that is the broader goals of the research question, field, or societal needs. For this example is a study on sustainable business practices should have the objective that contribute to global environmental and corporate governance goals. So it matters, that is, it relevance enhances this relevance enhances the impact, the credibility, and the applicability of their research findings. Next is time-bound objectives. This time-bound objectives, the name itself clearly mentioned that it should have a clear timeline. That is to ensure efficient completion and avoid delays. For an example, for us as a PhD scholar, we will be working on a thesis, should have a milestone like completing this particular literature review within 6 months, and data collection with a particular period of 1 year. So that's a time-bound objective. So we have to do with particular time mentioned. So this structured timeline enhances our productivity, efficiency, and accountability in research. Next, the last one is prioritized objective. So it should be ranked first. That is, the prioritized objective, what we are framing, should be on the top. That is, it should be ranked based on the importance and the relevance to the study's overall goal. For an example, a medical research project may prioritize finding a particular method of treatment or particular drugs before studying their economic implications. So it matters, and it ensures mainly focus on resource allocation and successful completion of the research. So by studying all these objectives, that is 5 objectives, these objectives help in structuring research efficiently, maintaining focus and direction, enhancing the reliability and the validity of our findings or our study results, and maximizing the impact of research in academia and industry. So by aligning all objectives with our research goals, the researcher can ensure their work is meaningful, actionable, and contributes to knowledge advancement. Next, we move on to this importance of research methodology. So it is the importance of research methodology. Research methodology is a very crucial part in our research, and as it provides a necessary framework, tools, and techniques which the research should be conducted systematically, which is valid, reliable, and meaningful results. So it also helps the researcher to choose appropriate methods, and different research studies require different approaches and techniques. For example, there are various methods, qualitative, quantitative, or mixed methods. So this research methodology guides scholars in selecting suitable data collection and analysis techniques for their study objectives. For an example, a social sciences researcher might use interviews and surveys, whereas a scientist may rely on experiments, observations, and statistical models. And it also ensures validity and reliability of results. So validity automatically ensures that accuracy of our findings, and reliability results are consistent, and it can be replicated under various conditions. So for this an example, in a medical research, ensuring validity and reliability of clinical trials is essential for approving new forms of drugs or any treatment methods, etc. And it also provides a framework for collecting and analyzing data. This shows that how data should be collected, processed, and analyzed to derive insights. It also ensures that data should be accurate, unbiased, and appropriately structured for a better interpretation. So, for an example, a market research study may collect through questionnaires, focus groups, and statistical analysis to assess the consumer behavior. And last, leading to the meaningful conclusions. A strong research methodology helps in deriving supported conclusions rather than assumptions. So it helps researchers to avoid biases, errors, and misrepresentations, and ensuring that results contribute to knowledge and our decision making. So research methodology is nothing but a strong foundation of a quality research. The right methods ensure good accuracy and higher integrity of findings. So every researcher should develop a strong methodology skills to produce high quality research. So next we move on to the research process. The research process is a systematic approach to investigate a problem, collecting relevant information, analyzing data, and drawing conclusions. So this research process is a structured and logical approach to solving the problem. So each stage of the process ensures valid, reliable, and actionable results. So researcher should follow these steps to conduct a high quality and impactful studies. Consists of all these 7 steps, which ensures accuracy, reliability, and meaningful results in research. So there are 7 steps in research process. First one is defining the problem. So the first step is in research is to clearly identify the problem or research question. So a well-defined problem provides a proper direction for the researcher and focus for the entire study. So for an example, if a company wants to understand why the products, a company wants to understand why its product sales are declining. So it just defining the problem, why the product sales are declining. So it clearly or concisely choosing or selecting a proper problem. Then planning the research design. This refers to overall strategy and structure for conducting the research, which includes determining the methods, research methods, selecting data, sampling techniques, variables, etc. and etc. And for an example, if we deciding whether to use a survey method for this problem or experiment method for this problem or observational study to collect data, so we have to plan according to the design. Then selecting a sample from this. So researchers select a subset of population to collect data instead of surveying the entire population. So sampling techniques includes random sampling, stratified sampling, and convenience sampling. So example, a researcher surveys 500 consumer instead of the entire target market. So actually in market, so much of population is there. So in survey, they are conducting only, taking survey for only 500 consumers. Then today collecting data. So this is a crucial step actually, and it involves gathering information from primary sources, secondary sources. The secondary sources you all know from journals, magazines, or any other statistical information, etc. So primary data is nothing but the collected first standard from directly from through the interviews, surveys, experiments, etc. So example, conducting customer feedback surveys to analyze the preferences. So if we want to know the customer preferences, we conduct a survey method. So whether the product is good or bad, or this product is making much preference on the side of the consumer, etc. And the fifth one is analyzing marketing research data. So here the data is completely processed, organized, and analyzed to identify trends, patterns, insights, etc. So techniques include statistical analysis, qualitative analysis, and some new machine learning models are available. So based on this, it will analyze the data. So example, famously known our SPSS software, Amos, R-Square, and Python. So many softwares are there. So what we are going to use for our research. Next, number 6, drawing conclusions and preparing a report. So based on the data collected by the researcher, he or she, the researcher, can able to interpret the findings and draw conclusions. So, and the results are presented in a structured report or research paper. So, example, concluding that price reduction leads to higher sales goal. For example, concluding a research based on our research questions, analyzing data and everything, we are drawing a conclusion. Next, last one is following up. Following up is nothing but validating our research findings. So we have to validate our findings are taken care, at most taken care, and it involves validating research findings and implementing the insights of this. And the researchers should retest hypothesis or suggest some improvements in this. So, in all, structured research process should ensures accuracy, reliability, and meaningful insights. So, each stage is essential for conducting a successful research study. So, the research scholars should follow this framework for ensuring better quality research output. And now we move on to the types of research methodologies. Actually, there are commonly called as quantitative, qualitative, and mixed methods. So it's a little bit elaborated that mixed methods, and I've made possibly 10 types. So this research methodology refers to the systematic approach used to conduct research, collecting data and findings, and it depends on the nature and purpose and objectives of our research study. So different methodologies serve different purposes and objectives. So the choice of selecting a proper methodology depends on the research question you frame, that is the research scholar framed, and the data availability with them, and the required depth of analysis. So a combination of all these multiple methods is often used for comprehensive results. So now first we see about the quantitative research. So this quantitative research has 6 main characteristics, and this quantitative research is nothing but a systematic investigation that primarily deals with numerical data and the statistical methods to analyze our patterns, relationships, and outcomes of our study. So first one is structured tools. First characteristics is structured tools. The data collection in quantitative research follows a structured approach using standardized tools such as surveys, experiments, and questionnaires. So, for an example, a university uses a multiple choice questionnaire to assess student satisfaction with their online learning programs. So, in that, they want to analyze, they are making a survey to they are making a survey to know about the students' satisfaction level, whether they have to improve or any other new methods to be followed, and so on. And number 2 is sample size. Second character is sample size. So this relies on this represent a larger population, ensuring the results are statistically significant. So for an example of this sample size is if a pharmaceutical company tests a new drug on 500 patients to determine its effectiveness before mass production. So the population is much larger. They are selecting a sample of 500 patients to determine their effectiveness of their drug. And number 3 is close-ended question characteristics. So this in this, the survey and experiments primarily use close-ended questions which predefined reasons and options, response option. Example, answering a question like yes or no, or a Likert scale that is 1 to 5. 5 is strongly agree, 4 agree, and 3 neutral, and 2 disagree, and one is strongly disagree, like so on. And for us, an example of this close-ended question, a political polling firm asked voters, do you approve the current government's policies, with the response options like, do you agree, that given options like yes, no, or neutral. So this is a type of close-ended question. Then our fourth character is prior studies. So this quantitative research often builds on previous studies, and it uses the previous theories and data to frame the hypothesis and analyze the results. So for this, an example is if a marketing team compares sales data from previous year to predict future trends in consumer purchasing behavior. The next one is quantitative data. The researcher relies on this is on numerical data, which can be analyzed statistically to identify some patterns, correlations, etc. So an example is a social media analytics tool tracks the number of likes, shares, and comments on a brand post to measure the engagement rates, so the quantitative data. Then generalization of results. So findings from a well-designed quantitative study uh, can be generalized to a larger population if the sample is representative. So for this, an example is a national census survey collects demographic data from a sample of 1,000 households, and applies insights to the entire company, that is the entire country's population. So the data collected from the households, from the samples, will give the insights of the entire country's population to the our research. So generally, this quantitative research is essential in fields like business, healthcare, education, and social sciences. And it provides good measurable and objective insights, making it a powerful tool for uh, a better and a good decision making, trend analysis for the market people, that is market research people, and hypothesis testing. Next is qualitative research. So again, this type of qualitative research is not. First one is this qualitative research is focused mainly on the understanding of the human behavior, their emotions, their experiences through non-numerical data collections. So we have classified, that is, I have classified into three types, that is 6 types. The first one is one-to-one interview. So a direct conversation between a researcher and a participant, and allowing the participant for an in-depth exploration of personal feelings and their opinions about the question and their experience about that question. So for an example, a healthcare researcher interviews cancer survivors to understand their emotional and physical journey throughout their treatments. So how they feel, and what is their emotional support from the family, and what are the expenses they have incurred. So everything, their emotions, their journeys, their feelings can be expressed. Number 2 is focus groups, which this focus group consists of a small group discussion facilitated by a researcher to explore collective attitudes, opinions, and experiences on a specific topic. For an example, a company testing a new smartphone gathers a group of consumers uh, to discuss their preferences regarding their design, features, and usability, and the price, and the availability, or their demand, so etc. etc. Then we move on to the ethnographic research. The researcher immerses themselves in a participant's environment to observe behaviors and interaction in the real life settings. So, for an example, in literature, can we, if we speak about example, the literature, in literature, PhD the research work. So the researcher lives in a rural village for 6 months to study the traditional farming techniques or their cultural practices, their beliefs, etc. And the next one is case study research. So a deep analysis of a single entity, that is individual group, maybe individual, maybe a group of persons or an organization or event to uncover detailed insights. So example of this case study is a business school conducts this case study on how a startup became a successful despite economic challenge. Next, record keeping. So the use of existing, that is the earlier documents, reports, or any files, diaries, or any written sources for analysis. So for this example, best example is from the archaeological student, and the historian analysis, letters, government's records from the 19th century or 16th century or some other centuries to find out the impact of the starting industrialization leads to the global industrialization and rural communities, etc. and etc. Next, qualitative observation. The researcher observed behaviors, interactions, and social dynamics without interfering. So here, an example of this is a psychologist observes children's interaction in a kindergarten or therapy classes, etc. So we come across many therapy classes nowadays for autism kids and mentally disturbed kids. So psychologists, how they observe the children's interaction in a classroom study to know about the early childhood social development. So in all, the qualitative research provides a rich, detailed insights to human experiences and social trends. So each method is chosen based on the personal the researcher goal, whether it's understanding emotions through interviews or group opinions, focus groups, culturals or ethnography or historical perspective, record keeping, etc. So next we move on to the descriptive research. This is a type of research which aimed at systematically describing a particular phenomenon, population or situation, and it does not involve any manipulation of variables, but rather focuses on providing a good or a detailed study of what is it observed. So the main key characteristics of descriptive is um, by following this descriptive research method, in-depth description of a case or situation may be possible. For example, a sociologist to study the daily routines and social interactions of homeless people in an urban area to understand their challenges. Then the theoretical basis for data collection and analysis. So the best example for this is a healthcare researcher conducts a survey to get the impact of the medicine on patient satisfaction or compiling responses, etc. And generalized form of research design, the other character. Uh, for example, a marketing team studies customers' preference by analyzing the previous data, sales data, and survey response to understand which products are more popular, why they are so popular, uh, the reason for popularing, whether any price or demand from the public or the customer satisfaction, extra. So they focus on this. So common methods used in descriptive research is surveys, case studies, and observation method, and document analysis, etc. So the descriptive study is generally and it is widely used in businesses, healthcare, social sciences, education, without influencing the subject. So it forms a foundation for further studies and it enables a better decision making and strategy development. Let's move on to the analytical research. This analytical research is a is a type of research which involves critical evaluation and interpretation of the data to establish the relationship between the variables and to test the hypothesis which we have framed in the paper or thesis and draw conclusions. So it goes beyond descriptive research by analyzing causes, effects, and patterns. So there are some key factors in this, that the investigating cause and effect relationship. So it looks for correlation between various variables to understand why these things are happen. For example, a researcher analyzes the impact of remote work on employee productivity by comparing data from companies from uh, before and after implementing a work from home policies. So they want to know about the variables differentiation or the relationship between the variables before and after, and then to understand use of data and statistical methods. So this researcher in this method, the researcher involves statistical tools and data modeling to draw conclusions. So financial analysis uses, for example, a financial analyst uses a regression analysis to predict the stock market trends based on the historical price, future price, or any price movements based on the demand or the market condition or the economic inflation, etc. and etc. So by the economic indicators, they can able to find out, and then it compare different perspectives. So this analytical research often compares theories, case studies, and the previous documents to evaluate different viewpoints. For an example, a legal scholar examines different judicial rulings on a specific law to identify patterns and any inconsistencies in legal interpretation. So by comparing before and after events can be possible through this analytical research, whether before it was like this and after this was like this. So what is a uh, interpretation, or what is the relationship between these two? So what is the main cause? So they can able to identify in this. So common methods used in analytical research is case study comparison is possible through this, and statistical analysis can be made, and content analysis can be made. So overall, in analytical research, this research helps in problem solving, policy making, in decision making across various fields like economics, science, law, legal, business, etc. So unlike descriptive research, which only provides facts, analytical research interprets them to find meaning. So now we move on to the applied research. The name itself give you a better understanding. Applied research. So this image represents a creative and a cognitive research, which focuses on understanding human thinking, problem solving ability, innovation or creativity, and decision making. So this type of research is often used in psychology, neuroscience, and design thinking. So the main key aspects and examples of this applied research is it is a cognitive process and problem solving. Why? Because some example, a study on how entrepreneurs develop innovative business strategies based on cognitive flexibility and risk-taking behavior. So it has a process in problem solving, how it creates or how it develops. Okay. Number two, creativity and innovation research. So creativity that works how ideas form and what influence them to think the the think the particular matter like this, or what influences to innovate a new method, etc. So then we go on to the example that AI research in robotics aims to improve human-like decision-making processes based on neural networks and artificial intelligence and machine learning and cognition, and educational and learning strategies. For example, a psychology student comparing traditional learning methods with a gamification to see which improves student engagement. So this investigating able to know how people learn the best and what techniques improve retention and creative thinking. So it is commonly used in the field like neurosciences studies, case studies, surveys and interviews, experimental studies, etc. So basically, this applied research helps in fields like psychology, entrepreneur innovation, and artificial intelligence and education. So it explores how ideas form, so how problems are solved, and how the brain processes information to enhance human potential. So now we move on to the fundamental research. So fundamental research is otherwise called as basic research. So basic research plays a vital role in helping businesses make informed decisions and innovative and stay competitive. So there are mainly six basic issues for a business owners. For example, identifying the market trends, improving product development, understanding customer preferences, and supporting decision making, strategic decision making, and enhancing employee engagement, gaining a competitive edge. So, if we take identifying marketing trends, for an example, a fashion brand analyzes global color trends or for the upcoming season like Diwali or Pongal, whatever it is. So season to ensure that designs align with the consumer preference. It's able to understand the shifts in consumer behavior, economic changes, and industry movements, helps businesses stay relevant. Next is improving product development. So for this, an example, a good example is a smartphone company conducts user research to determine which features customers want in their next model. So humans is always a wanting animal, isn't it? So every time we are not satisfied, we want more and more and more. The one thing we will stop is food. The other, for all other reasons, we want more and more, isn't it? So uh, what the customers want in the next model. So in this, the research helps the businessman to refine a particular product or particular a feature to meet consumers' need effectively. The next is understanding customer preferences. Example, if you take a coffee shop, surveys its customers to determine whether they prefer organic or regular coffee beans. So in this, what they are trying to do is they gather insights into what customers like, dislike, and what they need more or what they expect more from the products or services from the particular cafe center or the restaurants, whatever it is. So understanding the consumer preferences and then supporting strategic decision making. So strategic example, a startup researchers competitor pricing strategies before launching a new subscription model. That is, it provides this by conducting this fundamental research. It provides data-driven insights to help business owners make critical choices about the investments made or any other expansion made or any other new policies are formulated, etc. And next, enhancing employee engagement. This employee engagement, the best example of this is a company conducts an internal survey to identify factors affecting employee morale and implements new wellness programs. So, in this theme, the understanding employee motivation and workplace satisfaction, the atmosphere satisfaction leads to the improved productivity and retention. So, and by this analysis, they can able to enhance their employee participation towards the organization. It's to gaining a competitive edge. An example you can say in e-commerce company, which has consumer buying patterns to optimize its marketing strategy before a major shopping reason. So by this research, they can able to anticipate industry shifts or outperform competitors, etc. So This basic research is important mainly for businesses to make informed decisions or produces it shows good products outcome, and with a good customer expectations, and enhances their company's marketing position, the competitiveness in the market, and it leads to better resource allocation, investment planning, and so improves or enhances or elevates employee productivity and business operations. Next is the exploratory research. So this exploratory research is a type of research conducted when a problem is not clearly defined. This helps the researchers to gain insights, develop hypotheses, and identify potential solutions before conducting a proper structured studies. So the main key features of this research is unstructured, and it is unstructured and flexible. So on basis of the unstructured itself, we can able to know it allows the open-ended exploration without any strict rules and regulations or guidelines. And it is qualitative in nature. So because it is often relies on interviews, focus groups, and literature reviews. And this method helps to identify problems because it aims to discover a new pattern, new idea, a new creativity, or a research gaps. And this research forms a basis for further research, that is additional research, because it provides a valuable thoughts that guide future quantitative or descriptive studies. So examples of exploratory research in different fields is like business and marketing, healthcare, education, technology and innovation, etc. So why this exploratory research is very important is it helps the researchers to understand a problem before investing resources in a large scale study, and it leads to a new idea, creativity idea, new theories and innovative solutions, and it encourages open-ended questions, open-ended discussions that reveal a deeper explanation, and it reduces the research risk by clarifying uncertainties before conducting the survey itself. Now we move on to the conclusive research. So this conclusive research design is used to verify thoughts and make informed decisions, which is structured, formal, and aims at producing a particular conclusion based on the data analysis. And it is broadly classified into descriptive and casual research. So in descriptive is the main purpose of descriptive research design is it describes the characteristics, behaviors, or trends in a population, and it answers the questions like what, where, when, how, etc. And it uses surveys, observational studies, and case studies. So, for an example of this descriptive research design, if a company conducts a customer satisfaction survey to measure a brand perception, or a government agency studies literacy rates in different regions using their census data, etc. Then the casual research design, the purpose of this is to determine cause and effect relationship between the variables and answers why and how one factor influence the other. So it uses experiments and statistical analysis. The main example for this is a retailer tests whether reducing prices increase sales through testing between A and B products testing. Or a pharmaceutical company tests the effectiveness of a new medicine or new drug through some clinical observation or experiments. So there are basic basic differences between the descriptive casual research design and casual research is nothing but based on the objective. Descriptive is nothing but describes facts and patterns, and whether as casual research identify cost and effect relationship. And number two, the methodology, the description is based on surveys, observation, case studies. And this casual is based on the experiments, control groups, statistical, etc. And based on the outcome, it provides an insights and trends. And whether as in casual, it establishes a cause and impact. So why this conclusive research is important in research methodologies? It helps businesses to make data-driven decisions, in validating our research hypothesis, and it is very essential for the policy making, marketing strategies, and scientific research. And next one is survey research. This quantitative method used to collect information from a sample through interviews, online forms, etc. And there are many types of survey research: cross-sectional, longitudinal, descriptive, analytical, and so on. Four types we have. So the main advantages of this survey research is nothing but cost and effect can be conducted on, because it can be conducted online or by reducing their expenses. Fast and efficient. So it can collect response from thousands of people quickly. Scalable, works for all small and large groups, large populations, and quantifiable, provides a good measurable thoughts for or insights for decision making. So some of the real life examples is healthcare studies. For example, hospitals conduct a patient survey to evaluate the service quality or the service provided by the hospital, how it was, whether the patient is very much satisfied with the service given by the hospitals, etc. Next is case study research. This is an in-depth investigation of a specific individual group or an organization, event, or a common phenomenon, etc. And it is widely used in social sciences, businesses, and medical research to explore real-world applications. So main key elements of this case studies are the subject, the research, method, criteria, data, evidence, conclusion, knowledge. And the type of case studies, there are many type of case studies: exploratory, descriptive case study, explanatory case study, intrinsic case study. So there are many case studies, collective case study, etc. And the main advantages of using this case study research is nothing but it provides a real world content. It explores complex issues in very detailed form, and it uses multiple sources of data, which leads to a new discoveries, a new innovation. So real life examples of this case study in business, Harvard Business Review, case studies on successful startups. In education field, analyzing the impact of technology in online learning, etc. And now we move on to the research design. So this research design is nothing but an outlook or a framework or a blueprint for conducting a study. So well-planned research design ensures clarity, validity and reliability, efficiency, producibility. And there are many types of research design, such as exploratory research, descriptive, casual research, experimental research, and so on. So this research process consists of these steps. So first one is topic, goals, and rationale. So the foundation of any research study involves defining a particular clear topic, setting clear objectives, and establishing the rationale for conducting the study. So example, a study on the impact of AI on recruitment process in Bangalore, which aims to understand how AI influences the hiring efficiency. Next is research question. So the research questions is these guide the research by focusing on specific aspects that need investigation. So example, how does AI influence recruiter decision making in Bangalore's IT sector? Next, we move on to the theoretical framework, provides a perfect structure of concept and theories which support our research work. So AI recruitment may be based on technology model, etc., to analyze user adoption. Next is determining and sequencing research methods, choosing and arranging the proper method, that is whether it is qualitative or quantitative or any mixed methods. So for an example, conducting surveys first, followed by in-depth interviews with HR professionals. Next is site and participant selection, identifying the research setting and selecting the appropriate participants. So for an example, recruiting HR managers from MNC companies in Bangalore. So particularly, we are setting a place. Then plotting and refining research design and methods, fine-tuning the research approach to ensure validity and reliability. For an example, adjusting the our questions or survey questions to eliminate from bias and enhance a better clarity to the responses. Next is the validity, ensuring that the research measures what it intends to be, what it should do, and for making findings credible. So, example, if studying AI's impact on hiring, data should come from hiring managers and not from unrelated departments. So, it should be the questions or the validity of the questions or the responses should from the particular population or particular responses. So this structured approach ensures a systematic and valid and reliable research process. So now we move on to the research problem. So this is the foundation of any research study, defining the issue or gap that needs an the investigation, which sets the direction for the entire research process of us and helps in formulating objectives, hypotheses, methodologies, findings, etc. So the key aspects of research problem is identification of the issue. Is the issue, where is the issue? So recognizing a gap or challenge or unanswered question. Then number two is relevance, ensuring whether the problem is significant and meaningful in the given field. Number three, clarity and focus. So really defining the scope to avoid a vague and overly broad research. Researchability, whether the problem should be answerable through a proper investigation method. So for an example, like this topic, finding out the problem like in banking sector, stress studies. What are the primary sectors affecting women employees in foreign banks in Chennai? And how do they impact work-life balance? So focusing on a particular problem on a particular area, and the topic also narrow down to women and to Chennai. The topic has been narrowed down. So in A and recruitment, for example, in other example, in A and recruitment studies, how does the A implementation affect the efficiency and fairness of recruitment processes? In Bangalore, already we discussed in earlier research methods. So now we move on to the components, basic components of a research problem. The research consumer, so the end user of the research findings, such as policy makers, businessmen, businesses, academicians, or the general public. Number two, research consumers' objective, a goal or a motive behind conducting the research, which defines a consumer what they want to achieve. And alternative means to meet the objective. The research should explore multiple ways to solve the problem or to achieve objectives. And doubts in the selection of alternatives, there may be uncertainty about which approach is better. And the last one is there must be more than one environment. So research problem should consider multiple environments or multiple atmosphere or context to compare and derive good insights. Conclusions about this research problem is a well-defined research problem integrates these components and which ensures the clarity and feasibility and relevance of our study. So these are the general characteristics of the research problem. So the problem should be very clear, concise, and specific, and it should be very original and unique. So it should introduce a new perspective or a novel aspect of an issue, and it should address a knowledge gap or application. That is, it should aim to fill a gap in existing knowledge or solve an unaddressed practical issue, and neutral and objective tone. So it should be free from bias and not should be framed in a way which leads to a predetermined conclusion. So generally, research formulated problem, that is, research problem, guides a study effectively and ensures its findings are very relevant and impactful. So now we come to the sample selection techniques. So this is a sampling is a process which of selecting a subset of individuals from a larger population to conduct a study. This helps the researcher to draw a better conclusion about the entire population without surveying everyone, making research more efficient and crystal clear. So this large circle, which is shown in the system in the screen, is population, and it represents the entire population from which the sample is drawn. It consists of many individuals depicted as colored figures. So this red dotted circles, that is sample selection. Okay, and different sampling techniques can be. This indicates that red dotted selection indicates randomly selected individuals or groups from the population. Different sampling techniques can be used in such as random sampling, stratified or cluster, etc. So the arrow which is moving towards a smaller circle represents a selected sample that will be studied. So the characteristics of this smaller group should ideally reflect the diversity of the larger population to ensure a valid and generalized result. So example of sampling in research is simple random sampling, first one. So in the simple random sampling, for an example, if a researcher want to study about the job satisfaction among the women employees in foreign banks, selects only 100 women at random from a database for all. So if, for example, if the population is they are randomly selecting only 100 women at for the sample that is response collection. Next is stratified sampling. Example, a study on luxury brand preferences divides consumers into age groups such as 18 years to 25 or 26 to 40, 41. So they make a selections of proportional number of each group. So purposive sampling, which is used only in qualitative research. So example, in a study of AI-based recruitment challenges, only HR managers using AI tools are selected. So based on this sampling, good sampling method, based on a good sampling technique, it ensures the research is very cost effective, time efficient, and representative of the population. Choosing the right method is very, very, very important for obtaining accurate and meaningful research findings. So these are the basic sampling methods. So this image provides a clear classification of sampling methods into two major categories. Left side is probability sampling and right side is non-probability sampling. So sampling, the process of selecting individuals from a large population to represent the whole group. So it depends on the research objective, population characteristics, and available resources. So based on this probability sampling methods, so there are four methods: simple random, systematic sampling, stratified sampling, and cluster sampling. So this probability sampling ensures that every member of the population has a non-zero chance of being selected. It helps reduce and improve the generalization of our research study. If you take simple random sampling, that is SRS, simple random sampling, it's in this sampling, every individual in the population has an equal chance of being selected. And the process of this sampling method is random selection is made from the total population, ensuring the fairness and unbiased representation. It is best when used when the population is small and well defined, and there are no specific subgroups that require separate representation. In systematic sampling, the individuals are selected at regular intervals from an ordered list, and the process of this systematic sampling is the first participant is chosen randomly, and then every nth individual is selected at regular intervals. And best used when the population is large and ordered. So you need a quick and systematic approach. Then stratified sampling. The population is divided into subgroups based on the shared characters like the age group, gender, income, education qualification, etc. and etc. So a random sample is taken from each group, and the process of this stratified sampling is nothing but it ensures each subgroup is proportionally separated. Sorry, is proportionally represented in the final sample. So it is best when used in which the population has diverse characteristics that must be accounted for separately, or to increase some accuracy in representation across key groups. And then cluster sampling, it is divided into groups. A very few entire clusters were randomly selected for sampling. So the process of this cluster is instead of selecting individuals, entire groups are chosen for ease of data collection. So it is best used when the population is spread out geographically, or collecting data from entire groups is more practical than selecting a particular individual. Now, non-probability sampling method. These methods are used when random sample selection is not possible or practical, and these methods rely on researchers' judgment and accessibility, making them useful for exploratory research but limiting the generalization. There are 4 types of non-probability: convenience, purposive, quota, and snowball sampling. So based on the convenience sampling, it is very quick but biased. It is chosen on based on availability and ease of access. It is very quick, simple, and inexpensive method. So it is best used when time and resources are limited. Then purposive sampling. Purposive sampling is nothing but the researcher use their own judgment, and it is also called as the purposive sampling is also called as judgmental sampling, because the researcher use their own judgment to select participants to fit in this method, and this method ensures participants are relevant to their research objective. What are the objective they have framed for the paper or a thesis? They found the relevant participants. And it is best to use when expert opinions on specific characters is required, or so it focuses on deep insights rather than generalization. It is used. So now the quota sampling. So the quota sampling is divided nothing but it's divided into segments based on the characters like age, gender, or occupation. A specific number of participants selected from each segment to be get responses, and it is best when used is need to maintain a subgroup representation, and random sampling is impractical due to accessibility concerns. Then snowball sampling. Existing participants refer new responses, forming a chain-like recruitment process, and it is used to reach or hard to find the populations. So it is best when used. The population is difficult to reach out. Next, we move on to the basic research methodology to be considered while publishing an article. So, while preparing an article, these are the basic points which we have to bring out. That is, a strong research methodology provides a structured approach to conducting and presenting the research. First is clearly stating the research question. So a research question defines the main focus of your study. It should be very specific, measurable, and researchable. And Why it is very important is it should provide a clear direction for research and helps to identify the appropriate research methods. Outlining the chosen research design. This refers to the overall strategy used to answer the research question, and it can be qualitative and quantitative or mixed method. Use this defines how data will be collected and analyzed and ensure the study aligns with the research objectives. Describing the data collection methods. This section explains how data will be gathered and common methods used includes in this are surveys, interviews, experiments, and secondary data analysis. So why it's so important as data collection method is nothing but it ensure data reliability and validity and helps other researchers replicate the study if they are needed. If they need explaining the data analysis techniques, so which clearly describes the techniques used to process and interpret data, and methods can be statistical analysis like SPSS or Excel or some other apps like R Square, R programming, and AMOS, etc. AMOS, etc. And this is very important to ensure the research findings are credible and interpretable and supports conclusions with scientific evidence. Justifying the methodological choices. So by specifying other, that is by specifically particularly mentioning the research methods, data collection tools, and analysis techniques which are selected, and justification should be aligned with the research question and the objective and to the methodology or sampling methods adopted. So it by this methodological is focused mainly in the research paper is it demonstrates that research is methodologically sound and it helps reviewers and readers understand the logic behind the approach. So well-structured research methodology ensures clarity, accuracy, and reliability in research. And for example, if we take the components like research question, design, collection method, analysis, methodological. So first we see the research question. The purpose of the research question is nothing but to define the study focus. For an example, how does AI affect recruitment in Bangalore? So straight away clearing and straight away it is pointing the question. Based on the research problem, it frames a question. Research design. Set study structure, that is outlook of the paper. Example, survey-based, quantitative or qualitative, and data collection, nothing but gathering supportive data from the respondent and based on the surveys, interviews, observation, etc. And data analysis, nothing but it interprets findings from statistical test, content analysis, etc. Justification of methods is nothing but to explain why these choices were made in my paper, the researcher's paper, why this sampling method is used, on what basis it is used, and justification of your sample size, everything should be made here. And surveys for large samples, interviews for deep insights too. And the last one is standard structure of a research paper. These are the standard structure we should maintain in a good article. First one is title, the name of the research paper, conveying its main topic. And number two, abstract, a brief summary of the research, including objectives, methodology, and a crisp and clear keywords, key findings, and conclusion should be there. And in keywords, this particular important terms that fully describe the research topic, helping in indexing and researchability. For example, the keywords like digital marketing, consumer behavior, online media, online advertising media, and online advertising, social media influence, e-commerce, etc. Next, fourth one is introduction, introduce the research topic, significance and background and research objectives. And next one is methods, which describes the design, data collection, analysis methods used, etc. So, so it should be in a proper format. Then number 6, results presents the key findings from the research in a very clear and structured manner, often using tables, charts, or graphs. And then we move on to the discussion. In discussion, which interprets the results what we got and explaining their importance on comparing with them with the previous study based on our topic. In conclusion, summarize the overall study and highlights the key findings of our study and the main other implications and potential future research directions. Acknowledgements expresses gratitude to individuals or organizations or institutions that supported the research. And the last one is references. This references list all sources cited in the research following a specific citation style like ALA, MLA, and etc., Harvard, etc. So, so before concluding our FTP, I want to discuss one more thing with you about the APA method and the MLA method and a new method called hardware formatting style. So we all know APA method is nothing but a writing format used by the researchers and professions in social sciences and other fields. And it's recommended by the American Psychological Association. So the main features of APA is nothing but in-text citation, that is, which use the author's page, list all the sources which are used in the paper. Headings use centered, boldface, capitalized headings to separate sections, and font, language, etc. These are the main features of APA. And this main purpose of APA style is it helps the writers to create a clear, precise, and good sentences. It also helps writers credit other people's words and ideas to avoid plagiarism. So it is commonly used in social sciences like psychology, sociology, education, etc. And MLA style. And MLA style is a set of guidelines for writing, formatting, and citing sources. It's often used in humanities, especially for writing about language and literature. And it is mainly used in humanities like literature, philosophy, research, etc. The main focus is nothing but it emphasizes the author's name and the page number and not the publication date. But whereas in the APA is they emphasis on the date of publication. It is APA emphasis on the date of publication, whereas MLA emphasis more on the author's name and page number, not the publication date. So key features text citation paper instead of what we usually give references, isn't it? So instead of references, they used to give works cited, and they use quotations marks for article titles and italics for book titles. And the last one, many of you know, and many of you not known about this hardware referencing style. It's nothing but a system that students, writers, researchers can use to incorporate other people's quotes, findings, ideas into their work in order to support their point of view and validate their conclusions without any uh, breaching of any properties of others. So, in-text citations, including author's surname and the year of publication, should be shown in the brackets wherever another source has contributed. And hardware referencing is an umbrella term for any referencing style that uses the author name and the year of publication. So it will mainly focus on the author date system. So in this hardware style, there are 3 types also: in-text citations, reference list formatting, so etc., etc., etc. So books have a different format, and the journals have a different format, and the websites, that is chapters in edited books, will have a separate format, and theses or discussions will have a separate format. Even it is used in films or videos, taken for films and videos. It can be used. And the key hardware referencing rules is nothing but it uses italics for book and journal titles. It uses author, year, page for in-text citations. So arrange a reference list alphabetically by the author's first author's name, first author's last name, first author's last name, and it uses a hanging indentation, and second and subsequent lines are formed. And a key feature of this is author, date, index citations, and they give the reference list at the end and title of books and journals in italics. So based on the citations or the formatting style which I have explained you, that is APA, MLA or hardware. So which style should you use? That is based on your opinion or based on your paper. So use APA style if you are in social science, psychology, education or business research. Use MLA style if you are writing a literature, humanities or history paper. Use hardware style if it is required by your institution or for your business law reports. So these are the common thing I want to explain. So this I conclude my topic. So if anybody have any questions, you can give in a chat box. Any questions? Thank you, Sunita. Thank you, Kavi. Any other questions, ma? So one any other questions? So I have seen a question. Any questions, ma'am?
Madam Vijay ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your wonderful.
Sir, one thing I have seen a question like multi-random sampling. Can I explain that, sir?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, this one person asked the question that multi-stage random sampling. It is nothing but a complex form of cluster sampling, which involves selecting samples in a various stages rather than using in a single step. So the various stages are nothing but defining the population. And in the first stage, you're selecting the primary sampling units. And in the second stage, secondary sampling units are selected. And next to the subsequent stages, additional stages, and selecting smaller and smaller units at each step. So for an example of multi-stages, in first stage, randomly select districts from the country. So it's nothing but the multi-stage sampling is nothing but a small derivation from a cluster sampling. You understood? Shekhar sir, I have explained, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your organization, sir, for giving me a wonderful opportunity to be a part in this research methodology, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So, how to choose a topic, isn't it? How to choose a topic. So, based on the one question is asked by, don't know the name. Choosing a topic depends on your interest, purpose, and scope of your work, and interest or any problem, uh, identifying a societal problem. So, based on that, you can frame a topic now. Yes, Niveda, if collecting 100 surveys from the n number of population, you have to decide whether the population is known or unknown. So after selecting or after analyzing, you can choose the whether it is based on unknown population or known population. So there are various methods which I have explained that.
Ma'am, thank you, ma'am. You
Thank
can
you.
wind up, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.